Hello, here I am, laid off again. Not really sure what I'm doing. I'm feeling all types of emotions. And so, yeah, I thought I'd just get on here to kind of talk about it and maybe this will help other people that are laid off as well because there's a lot of layoffs happening. So I was a tech lead at a small government consulting company, and I got laid off from that job. 5 years ago, I was also laid off from a very, very small government consulting company. But I've worked in all different types of industry. I've always been in tech, like doing tech work, but I've worked in all different types of industry, and I don't know if there's really any that's immune to layoffs. I kind of was like ducking and dodging a lot of layoffs throughout my career. And so, for instance, I was in the travel industry, the hotel industry, and I, I left right before the pandemic hit. And we all know what happened to a lot of employees during that time. So, a lot of my colleagues were laid off. Um, Even going into tech during the huge tech layoffs 2 years ago, I left big tech um, right before the huge layoffs, and then a lot of my colleagues were laid off. And right now, sitting at a position where myself and a lot of my colleagues are laid off as well. So it definitely is wild times, unsteady times for sure. I think I was contemplating how I would make this video because I definitely um, am in a position where I am very lucky at the same time. And I know a lot of people are not in this same position. And I definitely don't want to come off like I'm gloating or anything like that. Because whatever position you're in, if you're laid off, it is definitely a shake to your world. It is something that's unexpected, even though, yes, a lot of these things leading up to this, people were asking me, especially working in the industry and sector I'm working on, are people have been asking, are you worried about layoffs and rumblings on it? So, but for the most part, when it happens, I don't think anybody expects it. Um, I think the best you could do is just prepare for anything. So I think what I've been doing the past week, I'll go through what I've been doing, and then I'll go through maybe some scam situations that have come up, and what I think I might be doing for the future. Really, I have no plans at this time, but what to look forward to for the future. And I might sprinkle in some more things I'm really grateful for at this time and like compare my experience this time around versus 5 years ago as well. So, even though I do feel grateful for a lot of the things I have right now, that, like, for instance, I am okay financially, I have a lot of savings. I don't have any dependents, any kids to feed, to take care of. I really have no obligations other than myself. It's still scary to me because the last time I got laid off, it took me a whole year to find another, I guess, stable income, quote unquote, because what is stable nowadays, right? But yeah, I'm feeling that scaredness again, I guess. And also, just like the whole health insurance thing makes me so mad sometimes. How many people depend on their job for affordable health insurance. And so for me, um, unfortunately, I only had 2 days left of work. Some people get laid off and cut off everything the same day, but my health insurance ended 2 days after I received the news that I got laid off. And I think that that actually was the hardest thing for me because having medical condition medical conditions, and also I had appointments upcoming. I was worried about to scrambling those logistics. And so it was honestly heartbreaking to me to know that I would be losing my health care pretty much right away. And um, I did ask if they could extend it. They couldn't. I know the first time I got laid off, they were able to extend it for about 3 months until the end of the year. So that is that can be a very dire situation for many people. Um, I had a therapy appointment upcoming, and so I contacted my therapist of like what would be the cost now that I won't have insurance. And luckily, I have like the best therapist, you guys. She was able to extend my previous rate because we already had an established relationship. And so, but she did tell me after some time if I still don't have insurance, it would be double the cost to continue. Um, which also makes me mad how health insurance is sometimes, but honestly, double the cost without insurance is the absolute minimum that that you would be charged. Usually, you get charged a lot more, like 9, 10 times the cost sometimes for a lot of services. But yeah, so I definitely um, uh, that made me more stressed as well. Uh, so right now I am single, and the option would be to go on the marketplace. There was also a Cobra option, which usually is quite expensive, but I am planning to get married in 2 months. Um, and so I was even contemplating, like, maybe we could move up our marriage date. And so I could be on my fiance slash husband's health insurance. Um, but I think I want to try to wing it for the next 2 months. Knock on wood that nothing happens. Um, but I don't want to make too many rash decisions, and I can do that sometimes. And I feel like I've done that already since I've gotten laid off. So, um, with the health insurance stuff, once I get married, I think I could maybe breathe a little bit easier as well. But that was a huge difference from the first time I got laid off. I was single, but 5 years ago, I was actually completing my master's part time while I was working full time. And I was able to utilize the student health insurance right away. So that was really, really helpful. And I was pretty much able to use that the whole time I was unemployed. And I tend to be a penny pincher for sure on a lot of things. So, like, many things when there's an unexpected increase of cost, even if it's just like a few dollars of cost, is something I try to minimize as much as possible. And also, I feel like it's a trait in myself where uh, I believe has allowed me to have enough savings um, where I am now. But I have been having kind of been in a treat yourself phase, little Parks and Rec reference there, uh, in the past few months, because I realized that I do have these savings when I was employed. I do have these savings. I've been really, really frugal, which is great, which is what I, um, it's just kind of been my personality. But I felt that I wanted to treat myself to something. So in the past couple months, I've bought a lot of things. And so, like, I bought a PS5, VR headsets. I bought this new phone that's like over $1,000. And so, things like that. And I have also recorded videos of like me kind of reviewing those products. So, but I'm still gonna post those videos on this channel as well because I do kind of like some little product reviews here and there. So I'll still post those, but yeah, I think for the most part I've been frugal, and so if I have to unexpectedly pay for something that I didn't plan for, no matter if it's like thousands of bucks over or just a few dollars over. I'm very sensitive to that. So, but at the same time, I am grateful that I've had these savings throughout the year. Okay, getting into what happened, what I've been doing the past week. So the morning that I got laid off, that morning I actually texted. I call him EPS, my fiance EPS. I texted him saying I was scared I was gonna get laid off, and there were some indicators that morning. The government contract I was on was suddenly canceled. Um, and usually, when I've seen that happen in the past, that was the reason why I was laid off in the past. There were still some surprises. Like, I didn't think I would get laid off because I was only on a contract for 25% of my time, and the majority of my time, the other 75%, I was working on a corporate project on this technology, which was, I thought, very high in demand, and I thought they would be depending on me for a lot of that stuff. And so when they kind of like called me and 8 other people into a meeting to say that we were all laid off because that those particular contracts were canceled, I was pretty shocked, because I was like, wait, don't you still need me for the other project that I've been a part of for the majority of my time? Um, and so, yeah, I had indications that morning because the contract was canceled when I like logged on to my computer and nobody was meeting for the earlier like scrum meetings. Uh, but yeah, I got called into the call. 8 other people got laid off. They did allow us to ask questions afterwards. And not gonna lie, a part of me was like, are you sure I'm supposed to be here? I didn't say that, of course, but going in my mind, I was like, are you sure? Like, is this right? But of course, I wouldn't say that. That would come off as very like pompous and probably would make everybody, like who was getting laid off, probably would think like, who does she think she is? So one guy asked a question about if he could use the company for referrals, and of course HR and the leads were saying yes, of course. And then I decided to speak up um, and ask a question about unemployment. And I think I already knew this answer, but this was kind of honestly for me to signal to the other people getting laid off in the call to think about unemployment right away, because it's good to file soon. I still haven't filed myself, but I plan to file this week. But I said, thank you. I just wanted to ask about unemployment. Would we be able to receive a letter from you for unemployment filing? And so I'm happy that I was in. Of course, they said yes. Of course, can help in any way. So I'm happy that I was able to kind of like speak up during that meeting and kind of hold my composure. I think my voice broke a little bit, but I was able to hold my composure for the most part. Um, but I'm just happy that I also was able to kind of like let everybody on the call that just got laid off know, think about unemployment right away. Don't wait on that. Even if you think you're going to get a job, because I think right now, for unemployment, it will last like 3 months, and that's like money you pay into. You pay your tax as an American citizen. You pay your taxes, and it goes to unemployment. So you definitely should use that as a service. And it's not like definite nothing about ego or anything. Like longer you wait, the if it takes you a month to find a job, that's like really good for some people, but that still could be like a month no pay. So unemployment will help then. The only thing is, I made a video about this after the first time I got laid off, is just watch out for unemployment fraud, because I was a victim of it as well. The way unemployment works is like after you file, you just have to log every week or so what companies you interviewed for, and just log that every week into the unemployment system. And but once you stop logging, then you'll stop receiving unemployment. There wasn't really any clear instructions on how to stop receiving unemployment. They were just saying like once you stop logging, the weekly interviews or like it doesn't have to be interviews, just applications, your effort to reach out to companies every week. Um, but once you stop logging, that's when you'll stop getting unemployment. So I just stopped logging. But then lo and behold, people were able to steal my information and I guess my login and change the system. So the money went to like this Wells Fargo account that was opened in my name. And then they were able to continue logging every week. And so the checks were going to them. And so the way I found out, long story short, the way I found out about that is I received a paper physical bank statement from Wells Fargo in the mail, and saying like, oh, just your regular monthly statement. And I'm like, I don't have a Wells Fargo account. Looks like there's unemployment being logged here. So I called the unemployment office and they said, yeah, this has been happening a lot. Next time, if you are in this situation again, make sure to call us directly and we can pause your account or close your account. The reason why you would pause it is just in case the job falls through again, like it's easier to reopen unemployment if needed. So that's just something to look out for. If you want to see more details of that, definitely watch my unemployment fraud video. So yeah, I was very happy I was able to talk to everybody on the call and say, think about unemployment. So in my mind, yeah, I kept my composure then. It was weird also that, I felt that I was kind of close to our HR team at work, and so it was also a shock to hear something kind of like so scripted and robotic from her. I was also thinking like, do you know me? Don't you know me? But apparently, um, afterwards, I heard that she had to go on mute because she was crying. The HR rep that was telling us this. But at the same time, like, I don't know how much that should really I should really be thinking about that, because at the same time, it's not her that lost her job. It's us that lost our job. Um, so that's how the call went. Afterwards, um, I did end up breaking down crying to my immediate bosses. Um, Actually, when I first called them, they didn't even know it was happening, which was also really weird. And they were like, "This doesn't seem right. We're gonna look into it." But then a couple hours later, they called me and said, "Well, unfortunately, because of like the many cuts, um, it does look like your last day will be Friday." And so I think I broke down crying because I was like, I have medical appointments coming up. I'm not going to be insured. Is there anything that could be done um, to extend? But yeah, uh, I think that the first time I got laid off, um, I was kind of like nonchalant about it. I got laid off with another teammate. He got rehired right away on that same government contract, actually, but with like the main um, consulting company. Like we were like we call it the subprime. We were the subprime. He got hired on the prime, the main company. And also, I was doing my master's, and I actually was already interviewing. So I was like, naively so maybe, I was like nonchalant about getting laid off. And I was like interviewing already, but then I had no clue it would take me a whole year to find a job. Yeah, I go through more detail of that whole ordeal in other videos that I posted as well. But yeah, I'll talk a little more about the comparisons, I guess. But yeah, this time it was very different. I definitely was maybe, I was definitely more emotional for sure. But like, yeah, the first time I got laid off during the year that I was laid off, I was definitely emotional. So yeah, it was kind of just kind of like the trauma a little bit. But I was trying to tell myself not to act too rashly. Like, I can afford to take my time and not rush into things. However, I did kind of rush into things. I started contacting recruiters and people that I didn't know. I'm happy that I posted on LinkedIn right away. The first time I got laid off, I didn't post on LinkedIn because I was getting interviews all the time, and I thought I would have it in the bag soon. Like, okay, I'm gonna have it in the bag soon. I'm gonna have it in the bag soon. That lasted a whole year. So this time, I definitely let go of more of my pride, and I posted on LinkedIn like the pretty much the hour after I found out I got laid off. And I was frankly like, this is the second time I'm getting laid off. It took me a year to find a job the first time. Hopefully, with your help, it will take less than that. Thank you for your references and everything. And a lot of former colleagues came to help out and give me referrals. So I feel really blessed that I have those connections. Um, and but I don't know why I decided to act rashly still and reach out to people I didn't really know. So I already got ghosted by some recruiters. I think I just like reach out to people who were actively in the recruiting field. that I thought were in the recruiting field. So this kind of goes into like the start of my scam as well. So like I would get these random messages uh, periodically in my email on job openings from this unknown recruiting company. And so this job opening popped up the afternoon that I got laid off, and it the description fits what I wanted to do a lot, and I was like, I totally probably can get this job really fast. Because when I reached out to them, the recruiter like reached out to me right away, and what seemed like he was almost on like the pushy side, but at the same time, I kind of appreciate it because I'm like, oh, if you're willing to move fast, I will move fast. Like, I hate interviewing. I hate the interview process. I was telling myself I never want to go through that again. I never want to do that again. So, if someone's like willing to get me something fast, um, that's something that I was thinking in my head I would value the most, no matter like even if it was like lower pay than what I was making. Because I don't want to drag things out for another year if I have to, like just like constantly stressing. That was a huge toll just on everything in my life. Um, but this recruiter, I think that there were things sketchy about him from the beginning, but I was thinking of just seeing where it would go because there were things that also gave me hope. The sketchy things were like he would send me text messages for instructions on the application process and the job, but whenever I would try to text his number back, it would say service not available. Um, he did ask for my driver's license. Um, I was I was thinking, this might be legit because I've, especially in government consulting, getting clearance, I've been through background checks where they've asked for even my social security and stuff. Uh, and so I ended up giving him my driver's license. However, my driver's license is expiring at the end of this year. And I'll be changing my name. So, and I'll be moving addresses this year. So, that driver's license, that information, a lot of it's going to be invalid. So I'm thinking, is he stealing my identity? And then EPS, I was telling EPS like all of this going on. He's like, yeah, it sounds like it's a scam. It sounds really sketch. But still, I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna wait and see a little bit more. Um, and so then, like, this was all without any interviews set up. He didn't tell me the name of the company that I was interviewing for. He didn't set up any interviews. I think the things that I was thinking maybe legitimized it was that he had like a set pay and it was lower than what I made, but it was still six figures. So I was like, is there any room for a negotiation because this is lower than what I made? And he said no. And in my mind, I'm thinking, if it really was a scam, he would like just be yes to everything. Like, yes, we could do that pay. Yes, yes, yes. Um, I looked at the company on Reddit, and there was a Reddit thread saying like some sketchy stuff happened, but I still was like, let me just like wait and see. And so I think it was contacted them. Um, did I contact them the day that I got unemployed or the day after? It might have been like the day after. That was a Friday. Monday comes around, uh, and then like the first thing, Friday, another sketchy thing that happened is that Friday he ended up making a random Outlook email for me, And usually I don't get an email until I get hired at the company. And usually it's the company's email. But he made this like random email on Outlook for me. And he was like, use this, everything will like, and follow the instructions of the email sent here. And I'm thinking in my head, like, yeah, extra sketch. Why doesn't he just send it to my own email? I already have an email. And then I end up going into he gave me like a new email and gave me the password. So I end up being able to log into email, the Outlook email, and I see that like he sends instructions to fill out, to like sign for this form saying I agree to interview with this company, and I'm like, okay, yeah, it's sketch, but I'm still like kind of thinking in my desperate mindset, which I shouldn't have. I shouldn't act desperately, but I think I was still thinking in my fight or flight mode from getting laid off. And so I was thinking, like, yeah, I could totally, that makes sense to sign an agreement just to say that you agreed to interview. But then, like, I get a second email and it's already signed. I think it, like, showed that they forged my signature. But even in my mind, I'm thinking, like, oh, he's just trying to act fast. Like, and this is just like, kind of like a fluff agreement. Like, it's not like an important document or something. He's just trying to act fast. No, I'm very naive. I don't know what was going through my mind. But I decided to just like still wait it out. And so um, Monday comes, uh, he calls and asks that I send him my social security number. So that's when I'm like, I gotta shut this down. I gotta shut this down right away. So of course I can't text him back, but I block his number. I email him back from my email. I like don't use that random email. I email him back saying, please don't contact me again, remove my information. I understand this is a scam now. Um, and I block him on my email. And you know what I hear next? He finds my WhatsApp. He tries to message me on WhatsApp. I think that's so unprofessional. And so I block him on WhatsApp. And then he messaged me on LinkedIn. So unprofessional. His LinkedIn message is full of typos, and he's saying, we're not a scam. We're from a reputable company. And then I messaged him one last time. I said, I will not ask you again. Please do not contact me. I was getting scared at this time, honestly. I was like, should I like be getting the cops involved? Is he gonna like try to find me at my home because he knows my address now? I gave him my driver's license. Um, but after I sent that message, I will not ask again. He said, okay. So yeah, I feel better that I haven't heard back from that person for the past few days. Blocked him on all the channels I could think of that he tried to reach out to me from. It was a mess. So I think what's happening is that company is trying to steal information. And what I've been seeing a lot, especially with virtual remote jobs, is I've been seeing a lot of people, of scam people applying for jobs. And they might not be a US citizen. It's not always, and I don't want to make this is not going to be a video. This is never going to be a channel about me disparaging people not from the US or foreigners. As a family of immigrants myself, this is not the channel for that. So I don't want to see any comments about like that or generalizing foreigners or non-US citizens. Anyways, with that being said, there are a lot of people who are scamming their way into getting jobs or getting paid, and they don't represent themselves fully. And I think this is one of the cases. They were going to steal my information. They also asked me to update my LinkedIn descriptions. I've never had that asked before. Um, they asked me to update my LinkedIn job descriptions and update my resume. So they were going to steal my identity, apply for jobs themselves, and try to pass it off that they were me. And so that's why I believe they made a whole new personal email account on Outlook. So then when the scam was done, I would be blocked out from the that email, for instance. That email would give the recruiters at other companies legitimacy, like, oh, like that's the way we'll contact them, so and so, stuff like that. So I that's what I believe was happening. I've interviewed a ton of people and worked with HR a lot, and there's just some crazy stories that have come out of the woodwork recently, where even if you're doing a video interview, one of my colleagues, that was the HR director at our company, he said that he went on the interview with this candidate, and she was on camera, but whenever she would talk, it sounded like her lips weren't moving. It sounded like someone was behind her talking, and was very weird. And there's all this, like, AI videos of people who look very lifelike, as well. And so it's scary. It's scary out there. So, anyways, I believe that was what was happening. I should have shut it down earlier. I shouldn't have given my driver's license. And yeah, there's many agencies we could report that to. So in case you are ever in that situation, where you think you're being scammed, so this is what job hunting is nowadays, and it's exhausting. It's so disheartening. We're being kicked while we're down. When you lose your job and you're feeling so low, and then for a company to come and try to scam you like this, it's disgusting. So I feel for everybody who is searching for a job right now, and especially those who are really wanting a job, and really, like, don't have a job and needing a job. And I just have to remind myself that I am luckily not in a desperate, desolate situation where I shouldn't need to get myself in those kind of situations. I need to be patient. The night that I got laid off, EPS took me out to IHOP, and I had some chocolate pancakes because I told him I wanted chocolate. So that was really nice. Yeah, very different from the first time I got laid off because I really had no one. Yes, I did have, like, supportive family and friends, but no one I could was really, like, venting too much, and supporting me in a way that EPS is helping support me. And Monday was the first day that I was unemployed, and actually the first day in my life ever since I started working where I really didn't have any homework, schoolwork, or work to do. I still have to study for my PMP license, though. That's in 2 weeks, and I haven't been studying enough. That test is probably the most intense test I will be taking in my entire life. It's like 4 hours long. So, and there's like a 60% pass rate. So I don't know if I'll pass. We'll see. The questions are really weird in PMP license exams, project management planning exams. Um, yeah, so, like, when I got laid off the first time, I was like, oh, I still have to go to class, I still have to do these projects. But yeah, the first day, Monday, I actually planned to do a lot of stuff and go out and do stuff, but I decide to just bed rot most of the day. And actually, it's a little bit good that I didn't go out because I was able to accept the call from my previous employer saying that they're looking for a position for me. So I was able to do so I was a little bit productive. I was able to do some recruiting calls. But yeah, I just like kind of let myself bed rot. I was feeling guilty about it, but EPS also was helping assure me like that's okay. You don't need to go out. You don't need to do all that. Um, yesterday, I went to the spa. I actually had this Groupon I bought a while ago to go to the spa, and I was planning to go on a weekend, finding a good weekend, and of course, the weekends are so crowded. But this time I was able to go on Tuesday in the afternoon, so it wasn't crowded at all. It was like a perfect spa day. I was able to just like be there, relax. I journaled while I was there. It was a Korean spa, so it's like deluxe, and you could just stay there for hours and hours. They had good food. So I went to the spa and then met afterwards with EPS and his mom to have dinner and talk more about wedding planning stuff. Another thing I'm grateful for, like monetarily speaking, is that I don't owe anybody anything. I don't even owe any wedding vendors anything. We do have some planned expenses coming up, like we still need to pay for a photographer, videographer, that we have plans for. But like my venue, I was able to pay in full up front with catering that's needed. So I'm just glad that we can cut back if we want where we need to as well. And we don't owe anybody anything, which is like a very, very privileged position to be in. And another reason why I allow myself to take it slow. Um, so I do have streams of income that I'm expecting. Like right now, my income was only that job. I don't really make anything from anything else, any side hustles. Maybe I'm making like a couple dollars here and there from memberships on my gaming channel, but I don't really like promote that much. So I might like make like a couple dollars with less than 1,000 subscribers there. Um, and but with like other streams of income, I am expecting to get more income from selling my house. So after I get married, I plan to move into EPS's house and sell my house. So that will have like a little bit more cushion for us as well. Um, yeah, so let's see. My wedding is getting pricey. I think that things are creeping up in price, I guess a little more than I expected, but it was a decision kind of that I made as well. That I think I could will still be okay, and we won't have to go into debt for the wedding. Um, I'm glad that we didn't book our honeymoon yet. I think we were planning to go overseas, but yeah, I'm glad we don't have that needed expense going up. So I don't know, we might do something more local. We'll see. Um, some other things I'm grateful of, actually, like a really little thing at work that I was kind of getting anxiety about is there's this book club that started at my old job, and I was the one of the people that was like so excited about it to start, and so I was helping in like the planning. Not really. I didn't really do much, but I was telling them how I was excited to have a book club, and so there's a book club made, and I bought the book. but I'm not a reader. So I I was like kind of getting anxious that the book club meeting was coming up, and I really didn't read the book at all. And I was thinking like I probably should cancel it, but this is how my mindset is. Like it's a little crazy. Um, I thought I was gonna cancel it, and I would feel bad that I was like telling them that they should start a book club, so excited about it, and then I would like pretty much just ghost them or cancel the first meeting. So now I don't have to worry about the book club at my old job that I got laid off at. So, and I also don't have to worry about ghosting my job in general because I was thinking of taking a sabbatical before and taking some years off. Um, and so I was ready to take off work for a few years, and I have enough savings for it now. Um, so it kind of like was dropped on my lap now that I'm here, and I don't have to feel the guilt of quitting my job because I absolutely love my team. I love my boss. Um, they were the greatest. Now that I'm laid off, I'm feeling like many types of ways, to be honest. I'm feeling like, there's anger, sadness. I'm also grateful. But like I I was working with like the best team. Um, and especially with the girl that I was mentoring. I led teams before, I led people before, but I realized I don't like managing people and their personalities. I think I'm pretty easy to get along with for the most part, pretty understanding. But I just, yeah, I like to be an individual contributor. But when I was tasked to kind of like manage this one girl, this is her first career out of college. Um, she's the best, and I was telling her and others like if everyone on my team that I lead could be her, like I would love leading that team. But of course, that never happens. And when she found out I got laid off, she sent me this really sweet message saying that she really appreciated me as kind of like a lead mentor, and that I helped her a lot with her anxiety as well, which really is touching to me because, you know, in every job, I was going to say in technology, but in every job, there's always things that go wrong. But I think that I definitely get stressed about it as well. But I think like just letting her know that we're here together as a team. I'm not gonna like berate her for something wrong she did because I've made my share of mistakes throughout my career for sure. And so, like we are a team, we're working together. But yeah, her saying that, it also made me cry. And so I got a lot of messages from colleagues and people. And so I really appreciate that as well. So, yeah, as for what I'm going to do next, I'm still not sure. Um, I don't have to jump at every single opportunity that there is. Um, I've also been even contemplating taking a few years off while I was working. And I was contemplating doing that. I had the savings. I was talking to EPS about that. And I was contemplating taking some years off because I'm just tired, man. And I'm tired of interviewing. And so yeah, I'm trying to give myself some grace. Like, yes, I did reach out to my LinkedIn network right away. And yes, people have graciously offered their help and assistance, which I'm so, so thankful for. Even had a couple people follow up um, when I didn't reply back after, or I always reply back right away. But when I don't like ask them for a job, after a day or two, they've followed up with me, which I appreciate. But a part of me, because I'm such a people pleaser, I'm like, oh God, I should like look on their job site right away. I should pick something right away and get the ball rolling right away, right when they contact me. So that's a part of my thinking. But I'm trying to like take a breath. And I did reach out, back out to those people, and I was honest with them. I said, I, um, I am still organizing something. It's only been a week. Like, come on, it's only been a week since I've been laid off. Like, so I told them I'm still organizing some things, and I told some of them I am rethinking when I want to re-enter the. I am thinking about when I want to re-enter the workforce. And after I sent that message, like the replies I've gotten were so supportive. And I asked him like, can I reach out to you at a later time, or can I reach out to you later? Um, at first, I was thinking like, let me give them a timeline. Let me say I'll reach out to them next week. But honestly, next week is way too soon for me to really be in full. For me, it's I need to take time for myself unless an opportunity like literally falls into my lap. I think I just need to take some time for myself to uh yeah, just organize shit. So yeah, the response I've gotten from that was so understanding, and they were saying, of course, take the time you need. uh Here's, and a lot of them were like, here's my number, because I'm not always on LinkedIn, so here's my number, call me anytime. So that takes a lot of the weight off my shoulders, because I have this really toxic mindset that like people, I have this self-consciousness that what will people think of they'll what will people think of me if I'm not looking for a job every second minute of my day. It's crazy, I know. Like, looking for a job is exhausting, and you should not do that because you will burn out, and I burned out before. um, and like I was self-conscious of people thinking like I freaking like offered her a job and she's not putting in the work to like follow through. So like that's one of the things that I think stopped me, I guess like from was a thing that was a hindrance to me the first time I got laid off, because I reached out to some people, but I didn't reach out to enough people, because I was afraid of wasting their time. I was afraid that like they were going through this effort of helping me find jobs, and I didn't want to be like, oh, actually I'm already in the final stages of this one job that's I'm probably gonna take, so sorry, peace. But of course I wouldn't be like that. But I think I need to be better at understanding that people, you could only choose one job. Like, yeah, there's people out there that work 2 3 jobs at a time, but you're just one person and you could only choose one job. And so people will understand that like, you know, uh their job is not gonna be the one you chose sometimes. I'm very gracious of it, but it's okay if I take my time, and it doesn't, just because they sent me a link to some job openings doesn't mean I have to apply right away, because the application process is a lot as well. Um, and so I'm trying to give myself grace and like trying to still not care what other people think. I think, yes, I did ask for help, but I still need time for myself, if that makes sense. So that's the past week. I have been getting some more leads, though. I have been talking to some recruiters. I actually, yeah, so we'll see how it goes. I don't want to get my hopes up too much, because as I know from before, like I've always like made it to the final rounds of so many open positions, and it's just luck was not on my side. until I actually got a job uh, at like one of my dream companies when I finally got a job. Um, so the jobs that one of the ones that kind of surprised me, but I'm kind of confused, but also appreciative of as well is my company that did lay me off. They're trying to look for a position for me, and they said that if it works out, I might be able to get back into working with that company at the same pay, different project, but pretty much I wouldn't have to interview. And I think that if that is able to work out, I might take that. Even though I am getting interviews now for positions that pay more, but who knows if those will go through. Right now, I like am not concentrated about pay as much. It would be nice. It would be really nice. Maybe I could retire a little bit earlier, but I've saved enough money where I think I'll be okay. But I don't know. It depends. I'll have to think about the money piece a little bit more. It's all it can change. I could change my mindset about that. Um, and so yeah, we'll see if my old company hires me back. I do appreciate when companies try to find opportunities for you when they lay you off. Um, that happened with the hotel industry. A lot of the big hotel industries, like a lot of the big hotel companies during the pandemic, they did have programs for people who were laid off to try. It wasn't guaranteed that they would find a job, but to try to help them. So I do really appreciate that my old job is actively trying to place me again. And kind of shows that it seems like they do value me, but we'll see what happens. We'll see if I do get a placement at the company again. Um, but at the same time, I do find that it's a blessing that I can try to take some time for myself right now, a little bit sooner than I thought, a little bit involuntarily, but I was able to, yeah, I'm able to just kind of be, and I'm kind of trying to be slower. I'm trying to take things slower because I've already been rushing. Um, I'm just trying to just move. I want to move with purpose um, and not be acting so fast and irrationally. And that might even mean that I don't take a job for a while. Um, so we'll see how that goes. And because, yeah, there's so many things I want to do. I really like posting YouTube videos. For instance, I have my gaming channel that's like all like at 700 subscribers now. I want to get to 1,000. And I have this channel, and so I have like little small communities here and there, which I enjoy. I enjoy like sharing my thoughts and advice as well. And so, and I have like my music ventures with like my piano or guitar, and I want to really lean into my music hobbies. There's so many things I want to do outside of the regular 9 to 5. I realized something, even though I was unemployed for a year, I realized something about myself is that I never got bored of myself or being with myself. Um, I think like being single for some years after a long relationship, I definitely got lonely at times, and but when I'm like just with myself and on my own time, there's just like so many things I do and like hobbies that I really enjoy that I never found myself getting bored, and I really do enjoy time to myself. Um, and so I really want to lean on that some more because I just have so many ideas of projects in my head, and now I can finally have the time to do that and be okay. So yeah, I want to post more. I definitely am not one to share everything about my life though, but if I feel like it might be helpful for people, um, or I just feel like posting it, I will post it. And yeah, so definitely feel free to check out what else I have in store for this channel or my other channels that I listed in kind of my about me section or at the bottom of this channel's homepage. Definitely check those out as well. I have so many ideas, a lot of interest in things, weird things, trendy things. Who knows? I talk a lot. I ramble a lot. But yeah, we'll see where things go. I think I really, really want to lean into my creativity a lot more. I'm going to definitely try to study so I could pass this PMP license exam later this month. So I get that certification. I already did the classes, went through all that boot camp training. So I will be concentrating on that. I will be concentrating on my wedding planning. That's taking up a lot of time as well. Um, I think that as far as job searching, I'll always be open to it. I am maybe more now prioritizing things that are a little bit easier interview process or no interview. But I will still try to go through some select application processes. I think there's one that I'm planning to interview for that I'm not looking forward to. It already is making me tired. It's pretty technical. I have like a 70-minute Python technical test. And so I need to brush up on my Python skills, do some leak coding for sure. So uh, yeah, I probably won't get that job. That's the one that pays more than I make now. But I still think I want to try to put an effort to apply for it and see where it goes. I don't know what will happen with my previous employer. We'll see what comes out of that. But I will put in effort where they need. But yeah, I'm also, even though I will put an effort here and there, I also want to be more selective, and I want to um, be just like take my time because I will be okay. Um, there is a part of me where I might want to continue to make more money. I just, I just watched this like short documentary of this husband's wife that got early onset Alzheimer's at like 31. Um, and she died shortly after, unfortunately. But during that time, he and her parents were helping care for her 24/7. And so when I think about like health of my loved ones and also of myself, I think about like maybe I want to continue making money when I can, even though I feel like I have enough money to live not an extravagant life, but live a life that I've pretty much been living. Um, I think I'll be okay, even though I have enough for that. I think of those unexpected things that could raise the cost of things, and that mindset makes me want to work um, and continue to make as much money as I can as long as I can. But then I also think about how much I've been burnt out while I'm in a job, and I need to balance like what is actually making myself sick. Like when I went through my cancer diagnosis, the doctors could not tell or say what actually caused it. But in my mind, I think what caused it, because I never had any family history of breast cancer or anything, what I believe caused it was extra stress, in combination of juggling my job and other stressful factors. So I want to be cognizant of that as well. I need to remind myself how much I've always said I wanted to quit my job to take a sabbatical. Um, and like, when is enough, right? So yeah, and of course, extra money gives you extra luxuries you could spend on. Um, and so yeah, there's that's still a question up in my mind of like, I don't know what I'll do. But all I know now is like I am in an okay place and I can afford to just pause and breathe and not get scammed by another identity theft recruiter. So, anyways, I think I went through all the points I wanted to go through, at least on my notes. I'm sure I have a lot more to say about this topic. Also, this afternoon, I think I'm going to go visit my niece and nephew and with my parents and their grandparents. So I usually don't get to do that during the week because they go kind of early. And like my niece and nephew's bedtime is pretty early, and I have work, and so I get to see them today, I think. And I'm really excited about that. And yeah, well, that was my talk about my first week being unemployed again. Um, yeah, I'll keep posting videos and hope to hear from you guys as well if you guys are experiencing this, being laid off or have been laid off before. Let me know how your experience has been. All right, thanks for watching. Bye.